Welcome back, guys, to the King Josiah TV podcast, where this show was created to educate, promote, and influence the kingdom of Jesus Christ in this world. I am your host, Josiah. But before we get started, guys, I need you to do me a huge favor. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right below. If you're listening audibly on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and hit the follow button. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into today's show.
Minority, flexing my God and all of his authority. Practice was preaching purity, priority. Can't conform to it, even his maturity. Choose to go that way, God has been restoring me. They grilling the boy, cause I won't let them George forming me. Try to put me in a box, I got off the ropes, I won't let them corner me. God has been warning me, telling me, tell his people ain't no room for lukewarming me. Order me, Lord, it be your will, it never was mine. Like Amazon Prime, his turnaround time around prayer.
All right, guys. So we're going to jump into another segment here. So here, guys, I told you this year I wanted to start doing more videos about things to grow your faith, going things about how we can move forward. And, you know, I do the topics, the videos and all of that. That's really get y'all attention, get y'all in the door. But this is really what I want to get into is things to grow our faith, things that are going to make us better stewards and learn the word, learn the history, learn the things that are really going to make us better believers and better people of God. So really what I want to get into now is talking about the fear of the Lord. And I think that, you know, the verse that I want to start off with is going to be Proverbs 9 and 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. That's Proverbs again 9 and 10. Guys, you know, the world that we live in now, there's the fear of the Lord has become like not a cool thing. People, they just want to think of God as this, you know, fluffy, cute, grace. No, the fear of the Lord is actually a good thing. It's okay to fear the Lord. You know, so guys, the truth and wisdom starts with a relevant awe and deep respect for God. That's what fear is. This is fear. It's not about being terrified, as I mentioned, or recognizing God's supreme authority or holiness. It's actually recognized. It's actually recognizing His holiness and leading us to desire and honor Him in His ways. The verse emphasizes that knowledge of God and character and His teachings are essential for gaining understanding. So, you know, let's understand really what fear is. What's reverence and awe. It's a deep, humble respect for God's divine nature and sovereignty and power. You know, what's awe and astonishment? It involves marveling at God's greatness and His perfection, which is deeply satisfying and it's emotional. Lastly, a desire for obedience. All this goes along with fear, guys. It's the relevance that leads to willingness to align one's life with God's will and teachings rather than conforming to worldly patterns. Lastly, guys, I want to break down what's the Hebrew word for fear. The Hebrew word for fear is yara, yira. Okay, the Hebrew word yira conveys a sense of deep reverence, awe, and we just went over respect and recognition of God's holiness, rather than just dread or terror. It implies the desire to please God and avoid wrongdoing, which is the beginning of wisdom. So, guys, why should we fear God? Why would even God want us to fear Him? And guys, and I was sitting back thinking, doing my notes and on this and things, and you know, God doesn't want us to simply fear Him out of the fact of being terror. Like we said, it's not about terror. It's not about just trembling, but a part of these are guardrails for us to not fall into sin and not fall into things that will actually destroy us. God is our Heavenly Father. He demands respect, not only because He's our Father, and but He's just like your parent who truly desires the best for you and our lives. Again, guys, like I said, these are just like guardrails. In Proverbs, Solomon is writing to his son, and out of love for him, out of love for him, he shows him how to handle life with wisdom to avoid the pitfalls that life will bring. Just like our Heavenly Father, God in the same way sets boundaries for His children. He sets boundaries for his creation. God take chaos and created boundaries. He told the ocean how far to go. He told the animals, the frogs, the lilies, where they could go. And they put the chaos, but he created boundaries to create protection for them. Which brings us back to the Hebrew word yara, for fear. We must respect the Father and his guidelines. It implies that we desire to please God and avoiding wrongdoing, which is beginning of wisdom. As the most wise man in the Bible dedicated a whole book to his son, in the same reverence for God and the Lord and following his guidelines, we've got to follow God's. So, guys, I just want to talk about, some things pertaining to that, us as believers, that even myself, just following those, keeping that fear of God and keeping those guidelines, that it's just for my protection. For me, especially in my early 20s, I lived in a very Christian home where, when it came to, sex before marriage and, going out and experiencing certain things in the world, drinking and smoking and all those things, I was sheltered from. So when I got out of my parents' house, I wanted to do those things. So I got involved in those things. And getting involved in premarital sex and doing all those things. And it didn't end well. I was more confused than I'd ever been in my life. Found myself one time so drunk I couldn't feel my hands or my feet, but my heart still hurt. But God set up those guardrails for me. And if I'd kept the fear of the Lord and not decided to do things my way, just like Solomon, the most wise man, told his son, hey, these are ways you should live your life. You can avoid hurts. You can avoid trauma. Guys, so that's the benefits of having fear for the Lord. We've got to fear the Lord. Fearing the Lord is actually for our protection. Fearing the Lord is actually something that is going to protect you and guide you and allow you to be able to navigate life the best way. It's not that trouble isn't going to happen. It's not that it's not going to rain, because it's going to rain on all of us. But if you follow God and you keep the fear of the Lord and the reverence for the Lord, you can be able to live a life that's more sustainable, a life that's more pleasing towards God, and a life that's actually going to flourish, and not a life with decay and ruin and damage and hurt and all these sort of things that can come from us just living outside of God's guide. Because we think God's trying to cage us. We think God's trying to keep us here. And so the thing is, again, the one you should fear, the last verse I want to finish this off with is Matthew 10:28. And fear not them that can kill the body, but not. Well, let me start that verse over again. And fear not them which can kill the body, but not able to kill the soul, but rather fear the one who's able to destroy the soul and the body in hell. He's the one we truly got to answer to. He's the one we truly got to stand in front of. When this all says and done, everything we do in this body, we've got to answer for. So I just want to end with that. Live your life with fear and admonition and love for the Lord. And when you follow that, just like Solomon gave his son the rules of life to be able to avoid pitfalls, you can avoid pitfalls too. With that, guys, we're going to go ahead and end today's podcast, guys. That's EP number 38. Thank you guys for sticking along for the entire show. If you stuck along for the whole thing, again, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, guys. Hit a like on the video, guys. We will be back here next week for another show. Thanks, guys, again, and I appreciate you. Bye.
Well, my salvation on me like it's a helmet. The way you to sin is death, for send you to hell quick. Wanted to be all about me, God, I was selfish. I was rebellious.